Hello all, if you are new, my name is Marin. Welcome to another reading vlog. This is going to be just a chill week-long reading vlog with no main theme. I'm going to be working on a couple of library books, a book from my November TBR, and we're just going to kind of take things as they go. I have no big plans this week, so hopefully I can get everything read in a timely fashion, and hopefully you will enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into the vlog. Hello all, happy Saturday. Time for a reading update. I started Heartstopper as you saw in the footage, and I have finished that book. So for those who watched last vlog and want to know my thoughts, we're going to chat about it very briefly. I don't have a ton to say about this series, but I can share some overall thoughts with you. So this is the currently last installment that has been released. She is working on the final installment right now, which is either going to be released at the end of next year or early 2026. There's no like clear consensus yet on that. So I am not in love with this series like many others on BookTube are, but I do think that it is an important series that is being written. It is good for people who are in a minority to see themselves on the page of a book. There are a lot of heavy topics tackled in this book, but my overall issue, I guess, for lack of a better word, is just that I find this very unrealistic. And maybe this is supposed to be like in an ideal world, this is how things would happen, but for me, it just does not ring true to teenagers nowadays. So that's kind of my biggest gripe with it. And reading is escapism, so some people may want like the cute, fluffy, happily ever after setup, but for me it just doesn't quite work the way it seems to work for others. So I did give this one 3.5 stars. This is not my least favorite. My least favorite was the third one. I just really had a lot of trouble with that one personally, but this one is my second least favorite. Again, I just find it kind of unrealistic. The romance between Nick and Charlie is very cute, lots of fluffy sunshine and rainbows, but for me at this stage in my life, it's just not as special as I think it may have been if I were younger. So that's my quick review on this. I have also finished listening to an audiobook. So I was listening to All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir, and this is another one where it was almost 5 stars, but it did not have the emotional impact that I was expecting it to have based on what this book is about. So basically this book has 3 POVs. We have one that is Misbah. She is the mother of one of the other characters, and she is kind of recounting her story of how she came to be in the United States in the current day timeline, because it is kind of dual timelines. Then we have 2 teenage POVs. So we have Noor, who lives with her uncle after her family was killed. She was born in Pakistan. Her uncle rescued her and brought her to the United States. So we are following her POV as she kind of tries to navigate life in this small California town, and as she dreams of bigger and better things. Then we have the POV of Misbah's son, Sal, or Salahuddin, who is the same age as Noor, and we are kind of juggling his struggles as he tries to save the motel that his parents own, which is greatly in debt. And basically it's just kind of, I guess, coming of age, a little bit of romance, definitely kind of navigating grief and blame and guilt. And so it's got some heavy things going on in it, much like Heartstopper does. But for me, I was expecting more of an emotional impact from this book, and so because I did not quite get that, I'm giving it 4 stars. I still think it is worth a read. It has hit many other people the way that I thought it would hit me, and they have given it that 5-star rating, but it didn't quite do it for me. So 4 stars for this one. I did really enjoy the audio. It is narrated by 3 different people, and I really had a good time with that. Definitely check out trigger warnings for this one. I believe the author puts them at the start. Yep. So she's got like trigger warnings here, and then on the audio it lists them as well. So just be aware if you have things that bother you in books, do check that out. This one was good, just not great in my opinion. So there's that, but I did finish this one. For the remainder of this vlog, I am going to be working on a series book, which I meant to read last week and just didn't get to, and that is going to be the next book in the Percy Jackson series. So Rick Riordan has started writing what he's calling the Senior Year trilogy, which takes place after the original Percy Jackson books, the 5 books in that series, and after Heroes of Olympus. And I don't know where it fits with Trials of Apollo because I have not read those. But basically, this goes back to like the roots of the Percy Jackson books. It's the first person POV, it's the funny chapter titles, and all of that. So we are following Percy as he is attempting to get 3 letters of recommendation in order for him to attend New Rome University. Okay, so that's like the setup. So I really liked the first one. I gave that one 4 stars. So I need to read the second one to be caught up on that series and be ready for the 3rd book, which I thought was going to be released next year, but it actually sounds like it's going to be at least 2 years because he hasn't even started writing it yet. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be reading this weekend. Now it's already almost 3 o'clock. I have a video to film. I was taking care of some things just around the house. I'd cleaned the bathroom. I caught up on my reading journal, that kind of stuff. So I've gotten a bit of a late start, but that's okay. This should be a quick read. I have heard mixed things about it. People felt like the humor in this one falls a little bit flat. So we'll see what I think, but this will be what I am reading physically for the remainder of this vlog. I also started listening to the audio of An Academy for Liars by Alexis Henderson. This is the pick for the Literally Dead book club for November. I listened to the first 70 pages while I was doing things around the house, and this one starts off very strangely. It's dark academia, but I think it's also fantasy, maybe magical realism. I don't know. There's some interesting things going on here. We are just getting into the setup, so I don't really have many thoughts about it. But in this one, we are following Lennon, who at the start of the book, she is attending her engagement party, and she doesn't really want to marry her fiance at this point in her life, but it's kind of one of those things where she's afraid to like break away from like the safe option. But she finds her fiance cheating on her at their engagement party, and so she leaves. She is actually thinking about taking her own life when she receives this random phone call from somebody who tells her she has been admitted to a university, or at least the first step into attending this university, and that kind of sets her off on this path. Now, she has not applied to any university, so the whole thing is a little weird. There's been some interesting, like, creepy things happening with her reflection in a mirror, so definitely liking the vibes and whatnot so far. This will only be the 2nd book by this author that I've read. I read another one by her last year for the Literally Dead book club, which I think I gave 3 or 3.5 stars. I can't remember. So we'll see what I think about this one. It is kind of chunky, so it will not be done by the end of this vlog, but I will make sure I mention it in the subsequent vlog just to let you know my thoughts and things like that. So this one, and this one are what I am going to be working on for the remainder of this vlog, but this is the one that I'm going to mostly be talking about because this is the one that I really want to get done. So that was a very long ramble, so I'm going to go ahead and stop talking, film that video, and then we will dive into this, and I will come and chat with you probably after I read the first 100 pages or so. So see you then. Hello all, happy Sunday. I don't really have much of a reading update for you because I did not do a lot of reading on Percy Jackson yesterday. Instead, I was working on redoing my TBR jar for next year. It seemed a lot more fun than reading, so I rolled with it. So if you're not familiar, I do have this TBR jar. Earlier in the year, I was trying to do like a vlog every once in a while where I would pull a book from the TBR jar and read it in that vlog, but that only happened 2, maybe 3 times. So that kind of fell by the wayside, but I do use this in my TBR game, and I will be using it in my new TBR game. And I like to refresh it every year just to get out books that I've already read or that I'm no longer interested in reading, which is what I was working on yesterday. So I went through my entire Goodreads want to read list, got rid of a lot of books that I'm no longer interested in reading just based on the way my reading tastes have changed. I don't read a lot of YA anymore, so kind of getting rid of some of those YA, especially paranormal YAs, that I know I'm just not interested in. So I cleared that out. I still have a lot of books on there, but I cleared it out, and then I started working on organizing them into a Google Sheet. So I made a tab for all of the different various genres and put the books into them. So that led me to, I guess, a realization of what is mostly on my TBR. So I have it written down here. Figured I would share it because I found it interesting. But the genre that has the most books on my want to read list is nonfiction. I have 119 books that are nonfiction on that list, which was surprising. In second place was fantasy at 98. Third place was mystery/thriller at 66. Fourth place was historical at 52. Fifth place was horror at 47. And then I find that interesting because I really didn't start reading mystery and thrillers and horrors until like the last few years. So you can see that I've added quite a lot of those to my want to read list in that time. So moving on, sixth place is just general contemporary fiction. That is 46 books. Romance is next at 42 books. Classics is next at 29 books. And then middle grade is at 19 books, and sci-fi is at 17 books, which does make sense. I don't read a ton of sci-fi, although there are plenty of sci-fi books I have read and enjoyed. It's just not a genre that I naturally gravitate towards. So it's just interesting to kind of look at that, because when I was reading as a teen, I really read predominantly romance. So that one is only at 42. Which I do find interesting. So yeah, that was just kind of a little breakdown of all the books on my Goodreads want to read list. I just thought that was interesting, so figured I would share in this vlog. Now I am going to start reading Percy Jackson. I think I got like 3 or 4 chapters read yesterday, so I'm not very far. I'm only on like page 20 something. But I do still intend to finish that in this vlog, so I'm gonna go ahead and read that for a little while, and then I will probably take a break. I have some laundry to take care of, things like that, so I'll just kind of intersperse other things with the reading throughout the day and see what I can get read. And once I get to the halfway point, I will come and give you a review of the book. So see you then. Hello all, happy Monday. I'm gonna go ahead and do a reading update, even though I am not where I said I would be when I would do the update. But I did read more of The Wrath of the Triple Goddess yesterday. I did not read a ton. So I'm currently on page 110, which is chapter 13. So I've read this section. I still have this much left. This is over halfway left. But I've read enough where I can go ahead and give you some like initial thoughts. So as I mentioned, these are termed the senior year adventures, and Percy is attempting to get letters of recommendation from various Greek gods or goddesses. The catch is that it has to be a recommendation letter for a new quest or task. He cannot have someone write him a letter for like a previous quest or task that he has already done. So we are meeting some gods and goddesses that weren't really featured in the original series, so that's kind of interesting. In this one, he is helping pet sit for the goddess Hecate while she goes on like a week-long Halloween celebration, because she is the goddess of ghosts, so she feels like Halloween is like her season, and she goes to like multiple celebrations. So Percy, Annabeth, and Grover are tasked with pet sitting her pet hellhound and her pet polecat. And after a series of rather ridiculous events, as with any Percy Jackson book, the pets have escaped. So now the three of them need to track down the missing pets and fix up the mansion, which has been like destroyed in the events that took place. So that's the setup for this. Percy has a bit of a plan to attempt to locate the hellhound, and we're gonna see what happens. So that's where I am. I would like to get a little bit more of this read tonight. However, you can probably tell in my voice, I'm coming down with a cold. I have been taking these Zicam things, which are supposed to like help shorten your cold. So you take them every 2 to 3 hours. So I've been taking them every 3 hours, and we'll see if this actually helps. I figure it can't hurt, but I would like to try to stop this in its tracks before it gets any worse. I am also very tired because I did not sleep well last night because of said head cold and coughing. So fun times over here. But yes, this is fine so far. I do like Percy's first-person POV. I do find him very funny. The situations that him, Grover, and Annabeth get into are always a good time. So I am excited to see where this one's going to go. But I'm not sure I'm going to get a bunch read tonight because I'm pretty tired. I also listened to a bit more of An Academy for Liars, and I am likewise not really sure what I think about this one. So I don't have the best luck with dark academia books. My favorite of the ones that I've read are In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I did not much care for, well, I shouldn't say I didn't care for it. I gave 3 stars to Catherine House. I gave 3 stars to If We Were Villains. So they've all been kind of meh. So I am curious to see where this one's going to fall. This one, we are kind of starting to see what this school is all about. There is some like magical realism type stuff going on, and our main character Lennon has like an ability that she is just starting to like feel out and see what's going on. So I am currently in chapter 20, but I'm like in the middle of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this chapter. Just read it physically. It's not very long. It's like 5 pages. So I'm going to finish that physically, and then I will do a little bit more on this. As I already mentioned, this one will get done in this vlog. This one probably won't, but I am on chapter 20, page 156-ish, so making progress. But that's the reading update. Now I'm going to change clothes and snuggle in for the evening. It's really dropped outside temperature-wise, so I think curling up with a book and a blanket is a good plan for this evening. So I will come back and chat with you once I have a little bit more to say about this, and otherwise, that's all I have for you. So see you then. Hello all, reading update time. It is several days later. I believe I talked to you on Monday. It's now Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving if you are in the US and celebrate. But I have finished reading The Wrath of the Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan. This was not my favorite. I didn't dislike it, but I'm giving it 3.5 stars, which is definitely the lowest rating that I've given to any previous book that includes Percy Jackson. I felt like the humor in this one was much more geared towards teenage boys, which, like, yes, that makes sense. Percy is a teenage boy, although he's 18, but I felt like there were just a bit too many fart jokes because one of the characters is a polecat with some intestinal distress that results in a lot of gas, and that was mentioned just constantly. And then Percy also finds a hellhound puppy that is not housebroken, so there is lots of the puppy peeing on various people. So it just got a little ridiculous and redundant. Overall, I did enjoy this. I felt like the adventure aspect of this was very well done. I still very much enjoy Percy's first-person POV. I liked some of the heartfelt moments that happen a little bit in the middle and the end between Grover and Percy, and it was still a good book. It just wasn't a great book, which is what I personally am used to with these. They almost always get at least 4 or 5 stars. This one was definitely an outlier in that respect, but it is finished and 3.5 stars is my final rating. This does catch me up on a series, which is good, and because of that I can't really complain too much. As I said, it was a decently fun time. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. So this one is done. So in this vlog, I finished Heartstopper Volume 5, which is another one that I just didn't love as much as everyone else seems to, but that's par for the course with the Heartstopper books. 3.5 stars for that one. I also finished All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir, 4 stars for this one. Another case of it not hitting me quite as hard as it has hit other people, but that's okay. And then The Wrath of the Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan, 3.5 stars. So I am not sure where I put Heartstopper. It's like gone missing, so I can't show it to you here, but 3 books in the vlog, not bad. This one was on my November TBR, so at least I can cross that one off. And that's it for this vlog. So my next vlog is going to be a 24-hour timer challenge vlog, which I have never done before. I'm looking forward to giving that a go and seeing how much I can get read, because I do still have 2 books from my November TBR that need to be read, and today is the 28th of November. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me. I think let's go with a dog emoji in honor of the hellhounds in this book. If you made it to the end of this video and would just like to leave a quick little comment, you can put the dog emoji. So yeah, otherwise I will see you in my next video, which should be my December Wheel of TBR. So see you then. Bye everyone.